Ladies and gentlemen, there's a power in quiet that most people never discover. In a world obsessed with sharing, proving, and performing, I want to invite you to do something radically different. Build yourself quietly. You don't need to post every plan. You don't need to explain every decision. You don't need to prove who you are becoming. The strongest trees grow in silence, and so will you. Here are 6 powerful ways to quietly build yourself, transforming your life from the inside out. Before the world wakes up, before the noise begins, make time for yourself, reflect, read, meditate, move your body, set your intentions. You don't need a gym selfie or a status update. Just a moment of stillness to own your day. The morning is your secret weapon. Win it, and you win everything else. Feed your mind like your body, consistently and with purpose. Silence the noise of doubt with words of faith. Replace fear with focus. You don't need to shout your goals, you need to believe in them. Quiet belief is more powerful than loud hype. Every day, renew your mind. That's how you become unstoppable. Discipline is love in action. Love for your future, love for your peace. It means doing what needs to be done, even when no one is clapping for you, especially then. You don't rise by motivation. You rise by showing up when you're tired, focused when you're bored, and faithful when no one's watching. Your dreams don't require validation. They require action. Build your skills, save your money, study your path. You don't need to tell the world what you're doing. Just let your results walk into the room before you do. Let your life announce what your mouth never had to say. Not everyone deserves access to your process. Silence is your filter. Protect your energy by spending time with people who water your spirit, not drain it. Learn the beauty of quiet boundaries. Some people won't understand your silence, and that's a sign you're growing. Take time to confront your wounds, heal your heart, clean up your inner world. Don't rush to be seen. When you rise, rise whole, rise healthy, rise with clarity. Your power doesn't come from how fast you move, it comes from how deeply rooted you are. So I ask you, can you trust yourself enough to grow without noise? Can you commit to progress without praise? Can you fall in love with your journey, even when no one's watching? Because the world doesn't need another performer. It needs someone who did the work when no one clapped. Someone who chose depth over display. Someone who built quietly and became unshakable. Silence is not a void. It is not a sign of inactivity, weakness, or isolation. It is preparation. It is sacred space. It is the moment the caterpillar wraps itself in a cocoon, not because it's dying, but because it's transforming. Too often, we associate silence with absence, as if nothing meaningful is happening. But in truth, the most significant breakthroughs often begin in the quiet. In silence, you hear your true voice, you meet your real self, without the noise of opinions, the weight of expectations, or the distractions of the world. That silence becomes the soil where clarity grows, where purpose begins to take shape, and where strength is quietly forged. Silence allows you to reflect, to regroup, to breathe. It is where intentions become clear and direction is born. While others chase applause, your silence becomes your strategy. You're not hiding, you're building. You're not avoiding, you're aligning. You're not idle, you're intentional. Preparation in silence is the foundation for strength in action. The time you take in stillness becomes the reason you'll walk into your purpose with confidence. And when that moment comes, when the world finally sees what you've been working on in the dark, they won't understand where your power came from, but you will, because you were never doing nothing. Your growth doesn't need an audience. It doesn't require validation, likes, or applause. Real growth happens in the unseen moments. In the late nights when you choose discipline over distraction, in the early mornings when you rise with intention instead of excuses, and in the quiet decisions no one will ever know about. You don't have to explain your process to anyone. You don't owe the world updates on every move you make. The truth is, the most meaningful transformations happen away from the spotlight. Growth is personal, intimate, and often misunderstood by those who only see results but never witness the sacrifice behind them. When you detach from the need to be seen, you free yourself to evolve authentically. You begin to grow for your own peace, your own joy, your own purpose, not for approval, and that kind of growth, it's powerful, it's sustainable, it lasts. You are allowed to build in silence. You are allowed to heal, to change, to rise, without making an announcement. The tree doesn't shout as it grows taller. It just stretches upward, rooted deeper with every season. So let yourself grow, even if no one notices, because the quiet work you do today will become the undeniable strength you carry tomorrow. Discipline in private creates success in public. What you do when no one is watching determines how far you'll go when everyone is. It's in the unseen hours, the ones filled with repetition, sacrifice, and self-control, that greatness is shaped. Discipline isn't about grand gestures or dramatic change. It's about the daily decision to keep showing up, to keep pushing, to keep choosing growth over comfort. When you hold yourself accountable in silence, you build a foundation that can't be shaken by noise. Every early morning you rise when it would be easier to sleep in. Every distraction you resist in order to focus. Every temptation you turn away from to stay aligned with your goals. That's where true success begins. It's quiet, it's consistent, it's not glamorous, but it's powerful. People often admire the results, but they rarely understand the routine behind them. What they see as talent or luck is usually just relentless discipline practiced over time. You don't become excellent in front of a crowd. You become excellent in the hidden hours, behind closed doors, when it's just you and the standard you refuse to lower. So keep choosing the hard thing when the easy path is calling. Keep committing even when motivation fades, because one day the private discipline you cultivated will show up in your posture, your peace, your performance, and the world will call it success, but you'll know the truth. It was born in the quiet where you refuse to quit. Not every move needs to be announced, just make it. There is strength in silence and power in restraint. In a world that constantly pressures you to share, to broadcast, to prove, there's something sacred about moving in silence. You don't need to explain your every step. You don't need to declare your intentions to make them real. Some of the most life-changing decisions are made quietly, with no audience and no applause. Real power doesn't seek validation. It seeks results. When you stop announcing and start acting, you preserve your energy for what matters most, execution. Talking can feel productive, but it's the doing that changes everything. You can plan, dream, and declare, but until you take the step, silently, steadily, intentionally, nothing shifts. Silence protects you from premature judgment. It guards your progress from outside interference. When you move without noise, you give yourself space to adjust, to fail, to pivot, and to grow without pressure. And when your results finally speak, they speak louder than any words ever could. So make your move. Not for attention, not for approval, but because it's right for your path. Let others wonder, let them question. Just keep walking, because quiet progress is still progress, and it's often the most powerful kind. Quiet focus beats loud distraction in a world that constantly demands your attention. Notifications buzzing, opinions shouting, and trends changing by the second. There is something rare and powerful about choosing stillness, choosing focus. Distraction may be loud, but it is often empty. It pulls you in many directions, but gets you nowhere. It gives the illusion of movement without any real progress. But focus, quiet, steady, intentional focus, is different. It doesn't need to announce itself. It just works. It cuts through the noise and zeroes in on what truly matters. When you choose focus, you're choosing depth over drama, purpose over popularity. You're no longer chasing everything that sparkles for a moment. You're building something that lasts. Quiet focus doesn't seek attention. It creates transformation. It's the kind of energy that stays behind the scenes, sharpening skills, building character, laying foundations. And while the world is watching those who are the loudest, the quiet ones, the focused ones are preparing to lead, to last, and to rise. So don't be fooled by the noise. Don't let the loudness of others convince you that you're missing out. Stay locked in, stay centered, because focus, especially the kind that no one sees, is what separates those who try from those who become. Let your transformation speak before your mouth does. There is a quiet kind of power in allowing your actions, your growth, your evolution to reveal who you are becoming, without the need to explain it. You don't have to announce your change. You don't have to convince anyone that you're doing the work. Just do the work. Let the results reveal what your words never need to. When you truly commit to change, you shift from seeking recognition to seeking alignment. You begin to understand that real transformation isn't loud, it's consistent. It's the kind of change that unfolds in daily decisions, in disciplined choices, in moments of quiet courage when you choose better, even when no one notices. Words can be powerful, but they're empty without evidence. Instead of telling the world what you're going to do, show them by how you live. Let them feel the difference in your presence. Let them witness your discipline in your energy, your habits, your peace. You don't have to say a thing when everything about you is different. Your mindset, your posture, your boundaries, your silence. So stop trying to prove your growth and start living it. Walk the walk. Breathe the change, and when people finally notice, you won't need to explain. Your transformation will speak for itself. Master the art of consistency without applause. The true test of your commitment is not how well you perform when people are cheering, but how steadily you move forward when no one is watching. When there's no recognition, no affirmation, and no reward, can you still show up? Can you still do the work? Consistency is quiet. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't demand to be seen. It simply repeats the right actions over and over until the results appear. And those results aren't instant. They're earned through patience, through persistence, through the moments when it would have been easier to quit. If you're always waiting for applause, your motivation will be short-lived. But when you learn to keep going, simply because you made a promise to yourself, that's when the shift happens. That's when your habits become your lifestyle. That's when your path begins to align with your purpose. Every step, no matter how small, matters. Every repetition strengthens your foundation. You may not hear the applause today, but trust. Your future self will thank you for the work you chose to do in silence. Keep going, keep showing up, because greatness isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows, one consistent action at a time. Invest in habits that build your future silently. The most powerful changes you will ever make are the ones no one sees at first. They happen in the background, in your daily choices, in the quiet routines you repeat when there's no pressure, no audience, no reward. It's not the big, flashy moves that create lasting change. It's the small, consistent ones you commit to over time. These habits don't need attention, they need commitment. Waking up early, reading instead of scrolling, saving money instead of spending it, choosing discipline over comfort. These choices may seem ordinary, but they are the bricks that build the extraordinary. When you keep stacking those bricks, one habit at a time, your future starts to take shape. Solid, strong, and unshakable. You won't always see the results right away. You may question whether the effort is worth it. But trust this, the silent investment you make in your habits today will become the loudest proof of your growth tomorrow. Your habits are your blueprint. They are the quiet architects of your destiny. So invest wisely, choose routines that align with your dreams, build them not for show, but for strength. Let the world wonder how you did it. Let them see the results before they ever hear your explanation. Because the future belongs to those who are consistent enough to plant in silence and patient enough to reap in peace. Walk away from noise to discover your true self. The world is loud with opinions, expectations, comparisons, and constant distractions that pull you away from who you really are. When you're constantly surrounded by noise, it becomes easy to lose touch with your inner voice, the one that whispers your truth, your values, your purpose. Noise can drown your clarity. It can convince you to chase things that don't belong to you, live up to standards that don't fulfill you, and make decisions that don't reflect who you are. But when you step back, when you unplug, when you choose silence over stimulation, you create space to hear what really matters. In the quiet, you begin to see yourself without the filters. You realize what you truly want, not what the world told you to want. You reconnect with your spirit, your strength, your vision. The distractions fall away, and what's left is something real, something grounded. Walking away from noise is not about running from the world, it's about returning to yourself. It's in that stillness that your most powerful insights rise, your deepest healing begins, and your truest self emerges. Don't be afraid to disconnect. Don't be afraid to retreat for a while, because sometimes the most important work you'll ever do happens when everything else fades into silence and all that remains is you. Build mental strength when no one is watching. The moments that shape you most are the ones no one sees. The quiet battles, the private doubts, the choices you make when it would be easier to give in. Mental strength isn't something you show off. It's something you earn in silence, in solitude, in the depths of your own mind where no one can cheer you on and no one can rescue you. It's built when you keep going despite setbacks, when you stay calm in chaos, when you choose growth over comfort. It's in how you talk to yourself when things fall apart. It's in how you rise without recognition. It's in how you stay grounded when everything around you feels uncertain. Mental strength is not about being emotionless. It's about being disciplined with your emotions. It's about not letting fear lead your decisions, not allowing doubt to define your identity, and not needing approval to stay committed to your path. The world may never see the work you're doing internally, but that doesn't make it any less powerful. So keep building, keep pushing, keep choosing the higher road even when no one claps for you, because the strength you build in silence will become the confidence you carry in the spotlight. It will speak through your presence, your peace, and your ability to stand tall, no matter what comes your way. Let your goals be louder than your explanations. You don't need to justify your ambition. You don't need to explain your vision to people who can't see it. When you know where you're headed and you've made peace with the path it takes to get there, your focus becomes your voice. Your progress becomes your statement. Too often, we waste energy trying to make others understand our why we're choosing discipline, why we're walking away from certain people, why we're saying no more often than yes. But not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Some things are meant to be proven, not explained. Your time is better spent building than convincing. When your energy goes into executing the plan instead of explaining it, the results begin to speak on your behalf. Your goals don't need permission, they don't need validation, they need action, consistency, and belief, and when you let your results do the talking, the noise fades, the critics quiet down, the questions disappear. So stay rooted in your purpose, stay clear in your direction, let your success say everything your words never had to, because in the end it's not about how well you explained it. It's about how powerfully you lived it. The most powerful growth happens in solitude. It's in the stillness, away from the distractions, that you begin to truly understand who you are. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's sacred space. It's where clarity is born, where healing begins, where strength is quietly rebuilt. When you step away from the noise, you make room for truth to rise. Growth doesn't always look like action. Sometimes it looks like sitting in silence, facing your fears, processing your pain, and redefining your worth. It's in the moments when no one is clapping and no one is watching that you begin to do the deep internal work that leads to lasting transformation. Solitude forces you to stop performing and start listening. It teaches you to depend on your inner wisdom rather than outside approval. And in that quiet space, you confront the parts of yourself that you once avoided, and you learn how to love them, refine them, and elevate them. This kind of growth isn't loud, it's not flashy or celebrated, but it's real. It's the kind of growth that changes your perspective, sharpens your purpose, and strengthens your soul, so don't fear the silence. Embrace it, because when you walk through it with intention, you emerge wiser, clearer, and stronger than you've ever been. Move in silence, let success echo your journey. There is something deeply powerful about choosing to work quietly while the world wonders what you're up to. You don't need to announce every step, every plan, or every decision. When you're focused on building something real, the need for validation fades and the hunger for results takes its place. Silence allows you to protect your vision. It gives you the space to grow without interference, to fail without judgment, to pivot without pressure. In silence, you are free to evolve at your own pace, without having to explain, prove, or defend yourself. You're not hiding, you're preparing, you're not avoiding, you're aligning when success finally comes, and it will. It speaks louder than any update ever could. People may not understand your silence, but they'll notice your result. The peace you carry, the confidence you show, the wisdom in your decisions, those are echoes of the quiet work you've been doing all along. Let your journey be yours. Let it be sacred. Let it unfold without fanfare. And when the time is right, your success will speak for you in a voice so clear, so undeniable, that silence will have been your loudest move all along. Choose progress over validation. In a world where everyone is chasing attention, choosing to grow without needing to be seen is an act of strength. Validation feels good. It's human to want approval, to be acknowledged, to be told you're on the right path. But if you build your life around other people's recognition, your foundation will always be shaky. Progress is quiet. It doesn't always come with applause. It doesn't always get noticed, but it's real. It's in the small steps, the uncomfortable decisions, the moments when you choose discipline over distraction. Validation is temporary, but progress compounds. It adds up in ways you can't always measure in the moment, but over time it transforms everything. When you choose progress, you stop performing and start evolving. You stop chasing opinions and start chasing purpose. You begin to trust the process, even when it's unseen, even when it's misunderstood. Because deep down, you know what you're building. You know what you're becoming. Let your growth be driven by your vision, not by someone else's applause. Let your journey be guided by your values, not by your audience. Because the people who matter will feel your progress, even if they never see every step of it. Keep moving forward. That's where the real power lies. Be so committed in private that results scream in public. The work you do behind closed doors, the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices no one claps for, is what shapes the future everyone will eventually see. True commitment doesn't need a stage. It thrives in silence, fueled by purpose, not praise. When you're deeply committed, you don't wait for motivation. You rely on discipline. You don't depend on external validation to keep going. You move because your goals demand it, because your vision won't let you rest. You push through setbacks, not because someone is watching, but because you've made a promise to yourself, and that kind of commitment builds a strength that can't be faked. The beautiful thing about silent dedication is that it always shows up. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually your results become undeniable. People will wonder how you did it, where it came from, how you made it look so effortless. What they don't see is the private devotion, the daily grind, the unshakable consistency that brought it to life. So stay committed when no one notices. Keep showing up when no one is cheering, because one day your results will speak so loudly that the world will hear what your silence was saying all along. You were never just hoping, you were building. In the end, growth doesn't need an audience, applause, or announcement. It needs intention, discipline, and quiet strength. The most powerful transformation happens in silence, where no one sees the battles you fight, the habits you build, or the choices you make day after day. It's in that sacred space of solitude where your real foundation is formed. When you commit to building yourself quietly, you protect your vision, preserve your peace, and honor the process. You stop chasing validation and start living with purpose. Your focus sharpens, your mindset strengthens, and your results begin to speak for themselves. So stay in the shadows a little longer. Keep moving in silence. Trust the work you're doing when no one is watching, because when the time is right, your progress will echo louder than any words ever could, and the world will finally see what you've been quietly becoming all along. Thank you, everyone.